Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and sports fans of all ages, this is Off the Top Sportscast. I'm John, and that is Roy, and we've got a fun topic for you today. We just picked at random a draft year. This just happens to pick 2007, and we are going to redo the draft. We're going to do the top 12 players and see where we would actually slot them in. Now, we have not done any research on this except for the players' names. We want to see who you remember, who you don't, and where we would slot them now. Roy, because this is actually my subject, my topic, you're going to go first. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So the first pick goes to the Oakland Raiders. Who they chose was Jamarcus Russell. Roy, who will you pick for them?
Again, we're playing on the premise of we know some of these players now. We know what happened, but even at the time when they made the pick, I thought it was a good, fair pick. Jamarcus Russell, I don't think anybody had a problem with his arm. I don't think anybody thought he was a big, stinking guy, quarterback. He should have played more years. I almost, looking at the players, hey, I'll pick differently, but I would have gone the same way. Again, he didn't, right now, if I just click it, do you even know how long he played?
He played 3 years.
3 years. Think about that. The guy didn't even play with another team, not even as, to go backup. They cut him off. I think he had, there's quarterbacks out there that are roaming around as Tyrod Taylor still playing football, so I really think that he was cut short. Yeah, maybe attitude, maybe a little bit of lack of fitness, and stuff like that. But if I was to go again, just thinking, like I said, I know he was a failure, but again, I like the pick. But if I'm going, I could pick any of the people I see here
in the top 12.
I would have went with which was a top 12 pick, Adrian Peterson.
AP to Washington. Yeah, man, that is
for
crazy.
The Raiders. That's who I would have picked.
So Oakland gets Adrian Peterson, which would have been a great pick. He actually got picked. Where did he get picked?
Number 7.
Number 7. So he jumped up 7 spots. All right. I like that pick. I think that's a good pick. The second pick of this draft was for the Detroit Lions. That goes to me. And I am keeping their pick. They picked Calvin Johnson. That's Megatron. It's unfortunate that he got exiled to the Lions in his prime, because I think he would have been such a difference maker in so many other teams that were kind of meandering in the middle. And but I think for the purposes of what we're doing here today, there's no need to change him. That is the right pick still. So Detroit did something right on that draft. Roy, the third pick went to the Browns, and they picked Joe Thomas, offensive tackle.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was at all. Didn't remember, but he had a stud of a career. Who would have known, right? One team guy. I think when I looked at the statistics, he played 13 years, but we're going with who we think who should have went at that time, right? With that team. So right now, I'm going to play who I think would have went there. And I'm going to bring up Marshawn Lynch.
Ooh. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, Marshawn went 12th to Buffalo at the time. So he moved up, what is that? 9 spots to go at number 3. So now Gaines Adams went to the Bucks, a defensive end. Truthfully, I have a vague recollection of Gaines Adams, but not a lot. So on this list is a player who is maybe one of the most forgotten players in NFL history. This linebacker came in the league and took it by storm right away. And I love even that he retired early because his coach left. When Harbaugh left, he said, you know what? I don't want to play for another person. And he left. So to the Bucks, I'm going Patrick Willis, linebacker.
I thought that's who you're going with. I thought that's a great pick. That's a great pick.
All right. So Patrick Willis went actually number 11. So he moves up for this one to number 4. The next one is the Cardinals. They pick at number 5, and they picked offensive tackle Levi Brown.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit dicey here now, but I'm gonna bring up somebody who I thought was a solid player, moved around a little bit, but I'm gonna bring him up to the Cardinals. I'm going Ted Ginn Jr.
Oh, Teddy Ginn. He was a really explosive guy. Did most of his work on kick return, and was just a fast guy. I don't think he ever had. I think he was in Carolina. He got picked by Carolina. No, he actually got picked by Miami.
Yes,
but
Miami.
He spent a lot of his years in Carolina. I don't think he ever really had a quarterback that could really give him the ball where he wanted it. All right, Washington went Lawan Landry, defensive back. To me, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to go Joe Thomas. To have a offensive tackle that plays 13 years, who is multiple All-Pro and first ballot Hall of Famer, and to pick him at number 6, I think that is a steal at this portion of the draft. And Washington would have loved to have an offensive tackle on their team like that. We are going to now number 7, and that is Minnesota. They picked Adrian Peterson, but of course,
I'm also going offensive tackle. I'm going for Levi Brown, who the Cardinals originally picked. I'm bringing him down. Again, we had some good offensive tackles here, and offensive tackle is a hard thing to come by. Offensive linemen who are good to go that high, you almost got to take them early, even though you hate to sometimes. You want to bring them down a little bit, but you got to sometimes have good line to push it.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a really good running backs all you want, but if they don't have an O-line, and you can have a good quarterback, and if they don't have an offensive tackle, that's not going to help you at all. I think that was a good pick. He actually dropped, 3 spots or 4 spots, but because of hindsight, I think that's, we know what happened. I think that's a good pick. The Falcons pick Jamal Anderson, defensive end, at number 8. Man, I'm going to probably say Jamal Anderson is in the right spot. I think he was a disruptor. I think he played for them, if I'm not mistaken, for a number of years, if I'm correct.
4 years.
4 years? Actually,
4
a lot shorter than I thought then, for a first round pick. I guess
tell you the truth. John, just tell you the truth real quick. If you're looking at it, if we, again, we don't really look at stats. We're just trying to remember these guys. Probably we almost could stop, because it gets hard to see because his first year stat was incredible. The guy was a beast. When you look at solo tackles, he didn't have any sacks though, but solo tackles, this guy was good. But then every year on the year, he declined. He declined.
Mm.
So
All right,
technically,
well,
he doesn't deserve the first round slot at all.
right. So Roy, what we've noticed here is that there was a sharp cutoff, right? So we've got in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys out of 12, and there was a decline. Now you're looking at the list in front of you. Is there somebody on that list lower in the rounds that you went, man, this guy should have shot up this list?
100%. 100%. I'm gonna give you where he goes. Oh, right here. Now, maybe this will tell you. Defensive back, New York Jets.
Oh, really? Darrelle Revis.
Darrelle Revis. Number
Wow.
14. For me, he could have shot up top 5.
I would press to say that he would be not top 3.
Yeah. Yeah. I would, I'm not going to argue with you on that. You know what I mean? Another one who I think is not bad. Again, everybody's going to have their things. He got drafted by the Tennessee Titans, another defensive back, Michael Griffin. Played long years, many years with with Tennessee. Again, solid player. I got no problems with him. The one, offensive tackle, 49ers, Joe Staley.
Mm.
He played all his years with San Francisco.
Yeah,
Solid.
He was an anchor in that offensive line for a long time. This was a really good offensive tackle year, which is interesting because it's so hard to find big men in the NFL. A lot of times, when I hear people talk about expansion, and I don't know anything about expansion, but what the professionals always say is that there's not enough big men in the game to have much more expansion. And in this one year, you're talking about 3 anchors in there. That's a good one.
Let me give you one more who would have rose. Got drafted by the Chicago Bears. 31st tight end. Is now a commentator.
Drafted by the Chicago Bears. Not Olsen, wasn't.
Greg Olsen. I think he was shot up on that board.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think he would have been top 10 for sure. I mean, and this is all in the first round. So I think he got your 10 right there because we had 7. We added the offensive tackle. We added Revis. We added the tight end. Yeah, so that's 10 right
Joe
there.
Stanley. Yeah, I think of the 32, I think if we took all 32 and said, let's pick the top 10 of the 32 and looked at the list, I think that's not a problem. I think we got it. But when we looked at the top 12, we couldn't almost barely make the 6. And the other ones for me didn't deserve to be first rounders.
Yeah, because you look at our list of just who's in the top 10. I mean, Ted Ginn Jr. would fall off this list. You know what I mean? Because Revis is going up. So is Olsen. Olsen played for a long, long time and had a lot of productive years. So that was interesting. Redoing the draft is it's hard. It's easy for us because we have hindsight, but it's so hard in those days. Just like you said, Jamarcus Russell, he looked like the right pick. Nobody knew that he wasn't going to have the worth ethic, and really, he got put into a horrible situation, which every first round pick does. So it's hard for me to kind of like excuse, his actions and what he did and how it turned out for him. But that was extraordinary what happened to him over there.
Definitely, John. I think we got to do this again. Look at another year and maybe do it that way. Look at the whole 32 rounds and let's pick the top 10 from there.
All right. So next time, all right, that was redoing the draft. And next time we will pick a different year. We will redo it and we will grab all 32 of the first round and we will see if we can get a top 10 out of that 32. I was kind of happy that the Buffalo picked 12th and that player made it to number 3. So that made me happy. But, next time we'll do it that way. Go ahead and comment. Go ahead and look up the 2007 draft and tell us where we flat out missed and what you thought about our picks. Please go ahead and subscribe. Please hit us up. We will do a little Facebook post and you can go ahead and blast us and talk about us on there, or you can comment on YouTube. Roy, this was fun. We'll do a different era or a different year next week, and we'll see, what we can do. All right.
All right, guys, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 25. Let's try to hit that 25. John, what do you always say when we sign off?
Have a good one and talk to a stranger about sports today.